choose your reading, one of these 3 amulets with the deck in front of it. Here we have citrine, fairy quartz, and pink opal, serpentine and hematite, moonstone, and charoite. Okay, if you chose this deck, then this is your reading. You have the amulet of the Ronson Veriflame Venus lighter. This was a women's lighter, a table lighter actually. Very beautiful, gorgeous little etching all around it, very lightweight, and it was actually manufactured 2 years, 1959 to 1960. That's the 2 years that it was manufactured. It had a brother that was manufactured in 1947, meaning it was a man's lighter, and it was, so that's 12 years earlier than this lighter. That means, since we're talking about your past life, that you had a brother that would have been 12 years older than you, or that had a very major impact in his life in 1947. Okay? This lighter being made in 1959 to 1960 means that that was a very important time for you in your life. So you were coming of age, you were getting married, there was going to college, there was something important happening to your life in 1959 and 1960. Think about that. In 1959 and 1960, the Vietnam War, with any of the wars, the little wars even that were going on, there was a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world back then. There was racism, riots, civil rights activism going on, changes left and right. Skirts were going from mid-thigh, I'm sorry, not mid-thigh, from calves all the way up to mid-thigh. So from poodle skirts to mini skirts. The changes were extreme, so it was a very fast-paced, extreme changing time of the world. And the claim to fame of this lighter, with it being a Veriflame, that was a style in its mechanism and its mechanics, and that meant that it would light up to 3 years without needing refueling. That type of energy or claim lends its energy to your life back then. You probably had stamina like nobody's business. You were probably a go-getter that could make goals and to-do lists and get them all done. You probably worked from early morning till late at night, even past when the sun went down. You may have finished that day's to-do list and started on the next one. You were a person filled with stamina. You may have been involved in a lot of the women's rights or any of the rights or things that were going on. You may have been very involved in activism or changes that were going on in the world at that point in time. However, being a Venus lighter, you could have used all that energy just for family and self and love and romance. So, with and making money and being a financial queen, that is something that you could have done as well. So that is what the meaning of this lighter probably brings to your life for you. Venus brings the embodiment of love, beauty, feminine energy, abundance, and intuitive wisdom. So those were probably qualities in your character that you had naturally going on. You were probably very beautiful, and you had the ability to change the course of battle. So that's something that you may have done quite often, is like got involved in a fight that, an activism that was taking a course that was going nowhere, and you saw where you had a vision of where that could be successful, and you got involved and you put forth your vision, and you may have actually made some massive changes for the world back then with your abilities given to you from Venus. On the softer side of things, you were probably very nurturing, creative, very feminine, and abundant. So either your family was abundant or you were just an abundant person yourself. Being a go-getter, you probably were really good with finances and just bringing those finances in, bringing home the bacon. You were probably protective and very, very strong. You were what a lot of women in the 1960s were striving to be. Okay, a well-rounded balance, of the embodiment of the Venus woman and strength. Okay, so the crystals that we bring forth for your energy at that point in time for you, citrine, fairy quartz, twin scepter is probably something that you had like-mindedness with, you know, you sisters. You were a sisterhood-minded female, and you may have been sort of the queen of the crop of that sort of thinking. And you would have been successful in business, in school, in thought, in education, and energy. That is something that you embodied. But also, with the pink opal, spiritual growth and inner transformation would have been a really important thing for you. Part of intelligence wasn't just book learning for you, it was spiritual growth and transformation. You wanted to see women transforming from, well, I should have picked a different deck. This deck that I picked is more 1950s. It's the 1950s kind of looking Housewives Tarot, which is really good. But I think you probably embodied the 1960s era of transformation of woman from the kitchen into career, into education, and into success. Love, protection, and healing and gentleness was also very important to you. So yeah, you really were like the Facebook card of what a woman wanted to be in the 1960s, 1959, 1960, that year of change. Okay, so let's see who you were. So some things that might stand out to you and trigger memories for you would be education, college, women's rights. Any of that might be something that really brings back memories of your past. Okay, who was this girl? Okay, so it looks like you may have been a housewife that was in charge of the finances of the home. It looks like you may have made some mistakes along the way, okay? Or you came from a woman who was like this, who was in charge of the finances, who kept a really great home, but had dropped a few plates. You had not come from very wealthy money, but you came from people that tried to have a secure foundation with money. Even when they weren't successful with it, they, you know, a family that tried. Okay, so you may have had a Knight of Cups energy, a very young marriage. Okay, it looks like a really sweet guy with a lot of romance and a lot to offer that swept you off your feet at a young age. Nostalgia was important in this relationship for you. So this is somebody that you may have dated, and maybe he went off to school and came back, and you were really thrilled with who he'd become. Quick energy is what took over here. Maybe you weren't thinking about marriage when he first came back because you were kind of young, but again, he swept you off your feet and things did happen quickly. You guys did get married rather quickly when he proposed. You may have been the kind of person that ran with scissors. You did not take no for an answer. You did not always color in the lines. You were a hard worker. You knew that if you messed up, you were able to fix it. That's something your mother taught you. And you would run with scissors. But you did take time to take care of yourself and reflect. Reflecting was a very important part for you. You were not an overthinker, but you would take the time to reflect on truth and the wisdom that was passed down to you by your mother and values, and you held everything to the light of values. And you would not take a leap without reflecting first. You were very in tune with your dreams and your emotions and your intuition. You kept a very clean and tidy house. As this is showing, you were envied by others. Your hard work brought you a lot of harmony in life and ability to celebrate with your loved ones. So you were able to take the time off to celebrate with your loved ones because of your hard work. Eight of Cups. There was a point in time where you did have to walk away from some things, okay? You had to see what was, stack everything up, measure it out, see what it was that you needed to say goodbye to, and take some time to move on. Your hard work and wisdom had brought you a lot of success, and you may have even had some collectibles in your life, but you were definitely very proud of the finances that you kept. Your savings especially was something that you were extremely proud of. Not a lot. The reason why I say that is, especially with this card, is because back then, not a lot of women even had banking. Not every woman did. So the women that were achieving in the banking area with their savings and so on, having a checkbook, and being able to maintain all of that, that was something to really have a lot of pride about. And it looks like you had achieved that. Okay, so tell me about this woman's love life. What was her love life like? Ace of Swords. So you were a very smart cookie, and all of the delicious cakes that were presented to you in life, in your dating life, and even thereafter, you know, that kept presenting themselves to you, you really did cut down the BS. And you were not persuaded by a man's wiles at all. Okay, so is there anything about this woman that she needs to know, this feminine energy, that she needs to know that will help her remember herself? So she can know who she was back in the day. Is there any memories that she's having right now? Okay, so you might be dreaming about your death, or about some endings that you had that were really significant, some things that really transformed your life back in that time. Maybe some of them happened during a picnic, or that's how you guys dealt with the situation. So those might be some things that come out for you. How far did this woman go? How successful did she get in her life? It looks like you overcame your childhood ideas of what was going on in the 1950s, you know, with all those cool guys that were bad boys, you know, that the 1950s made so desirable. It looks like you overcame that you actually rose above that idea and found something better for yourself than what the 1950s was trying to offer. Is there anything else this woman needs to know, this feminine energy needs to know about her past life, lessons for this life? Whoops, I pulled two, so we'll do that. Okay, so Queen of Wands. This may have been your mother, a very strong energy in your life, a very creative person. So your mom may have been very creative and very controlling. And the Two of Wands, you had a duality going on. You had some anxieties and so on about making a decision. You had one path or the other to take. And you were really overtaken by the thought of this, which path to take. And you did make the right decision for yourself right away. You didn't even hesitate. But coming to that decision and having to make it was very difficult for you. And that might play into who you are now. That might be something that you run into a lot now, is you may even second guess yourself a lot because of maybe this energy here, this Queen of Wands energy, who was so creative and so right, and you were always trying to measure up to that. Then maybe there's a little bit of that still in you, thinking that you might fail. And I do think that some of these failures that you had to walk away from, where's the Cups one? That you actually had to walk away from may have been something that impacted you more than you let yourself feel in the day. I think you were such a go-getter that you didn't allow yourself to really feel and grieve your loss properly. You just accepted moving on is going to be my reward, and you didn't let yourself grieve. And I think you might be grieving a little bit in this life with that, and it may be reflecting in your decision making today. Okay, so that's it. 1959 to 1960. Venus is one of your examples for your life. You were a go-getter, a strong, energetic, powerful person. And you did very well for yourself in the past life. You may have big expectations, standards for yourself in this life because of that. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing fine. There's some things you're healing from. Take the time to do what you did back then. When you went inside to meditate at nighttime, when you withdrew and you meditated at nighttime and you leaned on your dreams, that is one of the things that help ground you and make you successful in your past life. If you start doing that again, you're going to see more success now and have confidence in your decisions. Okay? Blessings. If you chose this deck, welcome to your reading. You've chosen the Year of the Snake. So this may have been a very important memory for you in one of your past lives. It would have to do with any of the years for the Year of the Snake in the 1900s is what we will be channeling today. So it would be from 1929, 1941, 1953, 1965, 1977, 1989, and so on for your rebirths. The Year of the Snake is wise, intelligent, and determined. So that is something that you have reincarnated and kept in this life as well. They are resilient, intuitive, deep thinkers. They seem indifferent at times because they are such deep thinkers. They are picky eaters and very introspective. So those are the personality traits for Year of the Snake, and you have some of that in this life as well, even if this isn't your Chinese zodiac in this lifetime, because it was in your past lifetime and you've brought it here with you. Some things that might help you remember your past life. You may be very in tune with the elements. In particular, the smell of dirt before it rains. That might hold a special trigger to you emotionally, sentimentally. It might just stop your world and seem like time is stopping when you smell rain right before it rains. Dirt right before it rains. That is a very significant memory for you in your past life. Maybe you were a farmer. That's something that could be very important for you to think about when you do your meditations. Fortune cookies might also trigger past life memories. Now that could be the actual fortunes themselves, or it could be the cookie and the shape of the cookie. It could be the smell of the cookie, the sound, the crunch, the taste. Any of that could play into your past life memories. Something else that might be very significant to help you reconnect with your past life would be coins. I would say that in this lifetime you find yourself often coming across lucky coins as you go about your day. It's something that you do more often than most people. You might keep a pocket or purse of coins. It's something that you always have on you. I'm going to turn off that. You might be a very charming individual with a lot that is very calm, very charming and very calm. That might be something that you carried over from your past lifetime as well. Okay, so the stones that we picked for this reading is serpentine and hematite. We chose these associations because they do go well for a lot of the characteristic traits that were portrayed from this character. So we have rebirth and protection and enlightenment. It's great for new beginnings and emotional healing. So it's very possible that you needed a new beginning from your past life. I think you were a cheerful, charming, independent person in your past life, very charismatic as well. You had an excellent energy about you. You were also very grounded. But I think that you really needed a new beginning, which is why you have one. But you loved who you were. There was nothing about your personality. You were not a bad person in any way. So you brought a lot of those character and quality traits with you in this lifetime. The hematite is associated with strength, grounding, and protection, which is something that you may need. There may have been something that you needed protection from in your past life because you were such a down-to-earth individual that was very good-hearted and very charming. People saw you as easy to take advantage of. And your luck is something, you know, coming across coins and so on, is something that people may have been jealous of and envied and may have just wanted to take advantage of you. So you may have needed healing from a few things in your past life. That's all going to help you remember who you were. That's why we're talking about it. So it's also going to help with self-esteem, willpower, confidence, and even addiction. It's very possible at some point in your time in your past life that you did come across addiction. This could have been yourself or someone that you loved very much, where addiction did affect your life. So we've got that stone there that would be great for you to use in this lifetime, in this incarnation. Okay. So let's get into who you were. We've got a lot of triggers about your personality. I'm sure you've probably had dreams about it. Maybe you dream a lot about coins. Maybe you just love fortune cookies. Again, you carry coins with you everywhere you go. Maybe you find it something you like to give coins away to kids or whatever. Maybe that's part of your thing. Okay, who was this person in their past life? It does show here that you had to walk away from something, okay? That you had built a really good life for yourself at one point in time. You had plenty of emotions and invested energies in this past life, and things were good at one point in time, but you did have to walk away from it. Things soured for some reason. Now that could have been addiction. It could have been the people that were, you know, narcissists that were jealous of your natural charismatic talents and charm. But whatever it was, to save yourself, you had to walk away from a bunch of people and, you know, friends and so on. There's a Queen of Wands energy here. This could have been a mom that may have helped inspire you to move on and heal yourself. She could have been the sunshine in your life that helped motivate you and find your strength again so you could move on. It looks like you did regain the world at one point in time after you lost it. So you did a very good job for yourself. And you developed strength. So people that at one point in time would try to devour you, you learned, you know, instead of being charismatic to where people would be jealous of you, to maybe bring that in, rein that charismaticness in, and be more subtle with your charm. And your charm was able to turn that mighty lion into a little puppy for you, into a little kitten. So you were able to master those skills finally. And I'm betting that you probably still have a lot of that in this lifetime. So you have really held on to who you were inside. You've not lost yourself. You may not have all your memories, but you've not lost yourself. You kept a lot of your good qualities. There is a Queen of Pentacles in your life. This may have been somebody that held the purse strings for you, other than your mother. So this could have been a wife or an aunt or something like that that held the purse strings for your life. And that did help keep you balanced. And here we go with the coins. It looks like you really had a flair for coins. With the Page of Pentacles here, you did get news of, money quite often. So, whatever you put your hands at, or even unexpectedly, you could get a check in the mail. You were always being blessed. Someone that would give you the gospel handshake, whatever it was, you were constantly receiving, on the receiving end of a nice coin. You did find a balanced partner after walking away from all of that chaos in the past. You finally found somebody that was equal to seeing eye to eye with you, that was charismatic like you, that was intelligent about your energies, and that loved you as much as you loved them. You still had to defend your home, your talents, your people, your loved ones from envy, from people that wanted to take it from you. You were victorious, but you did have to stay on guard. Charismatic people have a tendency to be able to obtain things. And you were charming, charismatic and charming. You were able to obtain things, and this made people jealous because why you? You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Why you? And, people just wanted to take it from you. They thought, well, we should have it. And you defended it very well. Aha, the addiction part. Look at that. We got the Devil. So it's very possible that you yourself struggled with an addiction, or again, somebody close to you that, really had a hand in your life that could, take you down. Well, not take you down, but that could influence your life, struggled with addiction. It was probably you, but it could have been, somebody in your life that you were affected by. And this addiction is something that you just struggled with. Hopefully, I think you've probably overcome that in this life. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling a lot of charismatic positivity. But it does seem like in your past life you did have the struggle. You were very intelligent, spiritually even, of the esoteric as well as probably Christianity. You were very well balanced, and you may have even been a little bit of a healer. So you did achieve celebrations, and you did achieve in your life the marriage. You did achieve in your life the happy family, all the goals, the white picket fence, everything. You achieved that. You had the laurels of that in your life. One of the things that attributed to that was the way that you were able to pull back and get a better look at life. This is the Hanged Man, where you willingly turned the page upside down. Whatever was in front of you, you would turn it upside down and look for the unseen. And not just look at it like, aha, I've found the unseen, but you would look at it and say, now what could the meaning be behind that applicable to me? How does that apply to what I need to know? And you were very passionate about doing that, and that really helped you. And there you go. It did bring you a very prosperous life with a lot of coins, and even afforded you eccentricness. You could afford to be eccentric in your life as well. So that's wonderful. You had a very fulfilling garden and life. So yeah, it sounds like you had a really wonderful life. The things that are going to help you, again, have to do with coins. That's why you have such a fascination for coins in this life, because you came into money so easily. You were charismatic, you were charming, you had a really great energy, you had the right goals in mind, the white picket fence, the stability for the people that you loved in your life. You were very grounded in that. You were also very knowledgeable. So your esoteric background, really helped you out as well. Perhaps you were a tarot reader, whatever it was. The addiction, I am thinking that is coming from someone else, but maybe you struggled with it with them. Not as deeply, but possibly. You had to defend what you came into. But your life here, full of coins, full of greatness, full of wonderful personality. People loved you. You had envious people around you, but you had excellent people in your life that supported you as well. So what your beginning was with having to walk away from so much, it was like it never happened at one point in time because you succeeded so much. So I anticipate a lot of that luck helping you through this life as well. Even if you're struggling, that luck is still carrying on for you now. Okay, I hope this helps. Blessings. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the cornucopia table lighter as your amulet, then this reading is for you. This cornucopia table lighter was made by Evans & Company in occupied Japan, patented in 1950. So we are probably dealing with a past life from the 1950s. A model like this one aired in Mr. Blanchard's Secret. That was a TV episode from the Alfred Hitchcock Presents series in December of 1956. So the 2 years that may be the most prominent in your memory would be 1950 and 1956. The show, Mr. Blanchard's Secret, was about a mystery writer with an overstimulated mind that wonders why she's never seen the wife of her new next-door neighbor. Being a writer, of course, her imagination wanders to the more macabre, to the fascinating. So it is an interesting episode, wonderful to take a look at. It might bring back some memories for you with your past life. This table lighter actually had a twin. The twin was a cigarette holder, so instead of having a lighter at the top, it was open, and you would put some cigarettes in it, and they would display on your mantle or on the table rather brilliantly, since they were silver plated, for you or your guests. You may have been an adult, however, you may have been a child at this time, because Christmas is coming up, and that may have been significant to you as a child. One thing that may jog your memory is a move in 1956. You possibly had a move that year. One important aspect of that is somebody in your household, whether it was you as an adult or your parents, forgot to forward your mail. So you may have been expecting a really important gift from grandparents or from the store that never arrived on time, or that wouldn't arrive on time, and it was a big worry because the mail had never been forwarded. So it could be some unclaimed money. It could be, of course, like I said, a Christmas gift, Christmas letters, anything like that, that you may have been missing out on at Christmas in 1956. Now, being a past life, that probably doesn't have anything to do with you in this life, other than memories and helping you with growing spiritually where you need to be with those memories and balancing in karma and life. Another trigger that may help you is this little picture or image right here. It's a little retro TV, and on the top of it, if you can see, is a little fishbowl. The fishbowl I'm showing has a little goldfish in it, so it's an old-fashioned goldfish bowl. And you can see it has a little trauma done to it. It actually has a crack in it. Now, this is the image that might bring back memories for you. A TV with an empty or full fishbowl. It may or may not have had the fish in it, but it definitely had the crack on it. So a cracked fishbowl on a retro TV may be able to bring back some memories for you in the 1950s of your past life. Again, remember, you had a twin. You were the more dominant of the two. Christmas in 1956, you had a move, and mail didn't get forwarded. So there was some anxiety about not receiving some mail. And again, this fishbowl, this cracked fishbowl on the retro TV would have been very significant in your memory. Okay, so let's get into the gemstones. We have chosen the gemstones for Alfred Hitchcock's personality. Alfred Hitchcock was a bit of a practical joker. He liked the macabre, and he had phobias. So he was afraid of the dark, and he had a few other phobias that were known or unknown at the time. So we chose Moonstone for that because it protects and balances emotions. It helps intuition, and it can be very calming. It's a gentle feminine energy. So I figured that would be really good for Alfred Hitchcock with his more popular known personality traits. Secondary to that would be Charoite, this beautiful little purple stone that does come from Russia. It's gorgeous. This stone is a stone of transformation, turning negative to positive. It erases deep-seated irrational fears, and it turns anything negative into something positive. So, of course, with phobias and the macabre especially playing into that as well, that would be wonderful to add to meditations and so on for crystal therapy for Alfred Hitchcock. Now, the crystal deck that we picked is called the Tarot of the Unknown. It is based on a little cartoon, okay, the little cartoon figure. And so it's based on a little cartoon story. And since Alfred Hitchcock loves stories, I figured this would be fascinating to use for him. So let's go ahead and try to shuffle some of these cards and get some meanings. For your past life, again, it's the 1950s. You had a twin. You're either an adult or a child at this time. You had a move in 1956 at Christmas. So you were worried about, were you going to get some mail? Were you not going to get some mail or presents or money at that time? In addition to that, you had a cracked goldfish bowl that sat on top of a retro TV. So any of these things could bring back memories for you. Okay, let's go ahead and cut the cards like that, and let's see. Okay, so you were a bit of a farmer. As you can see, this card is the Seven of Pentacles. You did very well, and you had good harvests. So in the 1950s, you'd had a really good harvest decade. Okay, and that represents you. Queen of Axes. This is probably your wife. So she was very intelligent and thoughtful and witty and intelligent. So she may have been seeming like to some people like a bit of a Karen, but always substantiated, very intelligent behind her authority. And it did well for your farm. And there we go. About an insight to your personality is the Knight of Wands. So you were well balanced, okay? And you had the ability to turn everybody into a little bit of a deer for you. You know, people loved behaving nicely around you and just giving off a sweet energy because you were so fun to be around. You were charismatic, and you just, you know, took over the day. You were just excellent at doing that. So, and creative, extremely creative. And that was something that really impressed people that you were around. It was one of the highlights of your personality. We'll put that with you. Oh, and look here. We have the Chariot. You had some nice wheels, okay? They may not have matched, but you kept them balanced. So maybe, you know, you kept them balanced and it kept you going. You did take your friends along with you in your little crow's nest as you went along in life. And you loved to go about in your 50s car, whichever, may not have been 1950s. It could have been older than that, but you had some nice wheels. And you were able to really get around and be successful with it. King of Wands. This would have been your dad. Your dad was a very creative person. This is where you got that creative energy. And it looks like he may have been a little bit of a hopper. He could have been divorced. He could have hopped from lily pad to lily pad at one point in time. He did settle. He did, you know, more than once, it looks like, but he was a strong motivational character for you. He had lots of friends in the surrounding area, and he was very well respected. So even though he was divorced and remarried possibly, again, hopping around, he was still well respected. He probably took care of both homes very well. There was some strife in your life, okay? There were some people that were jealous of your energy, but you took it as banter and not really a challenge, but as fun, and it never really overcame you. I think this one pertains to your sister, okay? I think your sister may have stayed at home with mom, and you moved with dad. That's why we're seeing the picture here. And you're looking a little lonely and sad. So I think you were missing your sister when you were with your dad, but you enjoyed your life. And it's not like you were completely separated. It's just that, like you never saw each other. It's just that you both chose to live in different homes at the time. And that was part of your childhood. But you guys made it work. And it looks like you had a personal friend or somebody in the neighborhood, a rival that was a bit of a thief or a cutthroat behind your back. And he really enjoyed trying to get the better of you behind your back. It didn't affect you financially. You were completely successful. You were always able to keep your finances juggled and in balance. You have some really good memories about when you were a child from this past life. Now, again, you were probably, maybe a teen to young adult in the 1950s is what this is looking like, because you had your wheels, so you were at least a teen. It showed pictures of you with your sister, so you were probably younger, under 18. And in your childhood years, you had some really good nostalgia times and memories. And you may have made a big, significant move from one home to another, one town to another at one point. And that's going to be able to help play into your memories. As you remember the other stereotypes that I told you about, then you'll be able to tap into some of these memories as well, that good nostalgia. It's going to be very strong for you. You had an excellent partner. She may have come from poverty a little bit. Not as well off as you, not that you were extremely well off, but you and your family had a little bit more than she did. But you were a perfectly balanced couple. She loved you for your funny side and for what others didn't see that she only saw as well. So you guys were perfect for each other and had a very happy relationship. And you married young. So, and there is this Queen of Wands energy. This could have been your grandmother, even though it shows a very young rabbit. That may have been the one that helped keep a lot of balance for your life. She would have been an important figure, possibly your dad's mom, because it seems to be here that she's showing up for you and you stayed with dad, so it's possible that she was dad's mom and she helped keep the finances balanced. And that helped your dad be able to support both households as well as he moved on in life. Okay. So that's your reading, and I hope you enjoyed it.